Alright, so we're back. Got a smaller screwdriver. Normally I'd like to use one a little bit larger than this, but smaller than the one that I had. But this should work. Okay, there we go. It wasn't that tight, which it shouldn't be. And here's our jet. And we will also remove the needle valve at the same time. Okay, and that looks clean. Well, it's got gunk on it, but it's not scored or like it was over tightened or anything like that. And the same goes with the jet. So we'll clean the jet off and try to blast into the jet. Alright, so I was able to see cleaner coming out through the holes, so we're good on that. Wipe off the needle valve, and now blast out the passages in the carburetor itself. Now, under most circumstances, you shouldn't have to remove any of the pressed-in plugs or anything, unless the carburetor is really corroded, and in that case, you might be, unless it's a very rare, hard-to-find carburetor, probably going to be better off just replacing it or purchasing a rebuilt one, because once you get into having it actually corroded in the internal passages, chances are it's going to be a hard one to restore. So let's just start by putting the jet and the needle valve back in. Now you want to snug it down tight, but not too tight to the point where you won't be able to get it back out again. And the needle valve, we just want to tighten it until it stops, which is right there. You don't want to force it or anything. And we'll back it off 1.5 turns. And that should be good as far as getting it to start. And we'll adjust it further from there. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of crustiness forming from where it dried up, where the cleaner dried up. And it, so we have to, so there was at some point a little bit of water in this carburetor, but it wasn't enough to affect the actual operation of it. And I have seen some that have been completely full of water, that this entire internals of the carburetor had that white crust on it from oxidation. Alright, so now that that's together, we'll put our needle valve back in. Set our float on, put the pin for the float back in. And verify that the float is working and not sticking. And now we'll replace with the bowl. And again, you don't want to over tighten it, which appears like somebody did at some point, because this whole bolt on the bottom of the carburetor is practically stripped out. So now we're going to reattach it to the fuel tank. Fairly simple. And I did find some new O-rings that fit. And I'll just thread it on like so. And there we go. And it would have been nice if this would have had an actual fuel line, or it is a tapered fitting, but with the valve positioned in there, the tapers don't actually grab like it would on a standard pipe thread. So yeah, now we just have to put the flange, the intake manifold back on. We'll blast that out since it appears like there's mud, or it's probably just the dirty gas. So we'll blast that out to get that nice and clean. Now, unfortunately, our gaskets aren't in the greatest of condition, but hopefully they'll do the trick. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this back together, and we'll be right back. Alright, now that the carburetor and fuel tank are mounted back on again, securely, I went to take a look at this bearing housing here, and apparently, not sure if you can see that, but apparently it seems to have been the screws were originally threaded straight into the backing plate. So I'm going to have to either get larger screws or put nuts in there or something. I think they admitted nuts and just screwed it straight into the housing so that in case one of the nuts did fall off, it wouldn't get jammed in the chain and snap the chain. So I think my option is going to be to find larger screws. But until then, it should work for now. It's not falling off completely. So yeah, let's see if we can get this thing. Alright, so I just gave it a quick run and tried to start it. And something I failed to notice until now is that there's no compression anymore. So I'm wondering if a valve didn't stick or pop off the, if the retainer didn't pop off. I'm not even sure how these engines are internally. So this is looking like it's going to be turning into more of a winter project than anything. I really didn't even pay attention to that since I'm starting with a drill. That it was shooting fuel out the carburetor. So yeah, this is going to get the fuel drained out of it, and it's going to be relocated into the basement, and this will be a major teardown for the winter time. So there we have it, and this is going to be the last update on the Reo Royale Deluxe for a while. Once again, thanks for watching.